So let's go way back. Most geologists believe the Earth to be about 6 billion years old. And if that doesn't fit with your faith system, that's totally fine. I'm relying on experts who are able to do things like carbon date and are way smarter than I am. Those same type of people believe that the first hominids, people, or not people, but things that walk on two legs, developed somewhere between 4 and 5 million years ago in Africa. And the defining feature of these hominids is that they are bipedal, that they walk on two legs. And walking on two legs has a lot of different implications. One, it means that they can use hands to do other things and start to develop tools, but it also means that by standing on two legs, the female of these species have much smaller birth canals. And I know you didn't think you were going to get into an anatomy lesson today. But by standing on two legs and making a smaller birth canal, what that means is that when infants come into the world, they have to be much smaller, they have to have smaller heads, and they have to be much less developed than those of quadrupeds, or of things that stand on all fours. And what that means for these hominids is that infants need a lot more care, a lot more time for development, and hominids had to rely on each other for social support. So, two different sides to walking on two legs. One is the benefit of having hands to do things, mainly to cut and scrape things at first, at least, but also the necessity to rely on each other for support when it comes to reproduction. Among these hominids, about 200,000 years ago, a distinct group called Homo sapiens develops. And they coexisted with lots of other groups, maybe not lots, but a few other groups, including Neanderthals. And I'm guessing most of you are probably too young to remember the fantastic ad campaign Geico put out a long time ago. But those Neanderthals were, at least according to Geico, their shorter, stronger, whinier, larger-brained cousins, who went extinct about 25,000 years ago. Although one thing that's kind of interesting is all those DNA tests that people have been taking in the past decade or so have helped bring to light that there was actually a lot of intermixing between Neanderthals and Homo sapiens. And people with especially Eastern European heritage tend to have around 8% Neanderthal DNA, which is kind of crazy. Historians and actually lots of scientists like to periodize things, to take large chunks of time and kind of group them together. And one of the eras that we work through is known as the Paleolithic era, or the Old Stone Age, which happened anywhere from 1 to 2 million years ago to about 10,000 years ago. And in this Old Stone Age, one of the defining features is the use of stone tools like axes and knives, also wood, fishing poles, boats, things like that. And it's in this era that Homo sapiens tend to be largely nomadic. They move from place to place. They're hunter-gatherers, and they expand to cover almost all of the planet. There's evidence of some forms of religion, but not obviously all the same in different places. And one of the things that to me is really interesting about this era is that it makes up 96% of all of human existence. But there's only a small fraction of humans who lived during that time period, 12% of all humans to date. So in other words, the world had a much smaller population. If this is the Old Stone Age, the Paleolithic, it's going to be followed eventually by the Neolithic